Today we have an extremely mind-blowing manifestation success story. This here is the gorgeous Nikhita. Nikhita has quite possibly one of the most epic manifestation success stories I've ever heard, and you used the scripting method that I've shared on my YouTube channel before, is that right?
Yep, so I actually got the idea from you. I was sort of quite new to manifestation and scripting in general. Came across your video and
cool.
I wrote the letter for 30 days.
Yes.
I think I actually messaged you about it because I think you'd followed me or seen me on Instagram or something, but it was while I was doing your method.
Yeah.
And it felt like a sign. And I remember messaging you being like, I love your work. I love your stuff.
I remember that.
So I think it was about 6 months later, everything sort of started to unfold from there, really.
Wow. Okay, so we have been holding the suspense like crazy here. Why don't we tell everyone what you manifested from that scripting letter?
Pretty much everything on that letter came true. But
Amazing.
I think the main thing was a series regular in a Netflix TV period drama.
Wow. Okay, so you manifested a role on a Netflix show.
In a Netflix period drama was specifically what I wanted to...
Oh yes. Okay, so break it down. So what did you write regarding the Netflix thing on your scripting letter?
So originally I wasn't even going to put like a distribution platform. I was just going to keep it quite open.
Yeah.
But a really good friend of mine said, no, make it specific. Like, be clear on your intentions. And I know your videos talk about being really clear on what you want.
Absolutely. Step one is always clarity. So bang on. Thank you for being a shining example.
I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go with Netflix. And it was something that I could genuinely envisage happening for myself. So I said the amount of money I wanted to earn. I said I wanted to be a series regular role on a Netflix period drama, and I wrote it as a thank you letter.
Yes.
I think I wrote my thank you letter to the universe and you. Because it had to be someone that inspired us, and because I got it from you, I felt it appropriate to do that. I talked to an exact amount of money I wanted to earn, which manifested.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, it was very specific, but the how, I sort of let go of the how. And then the how even surprised me, but it led me to that exact scripting, like
interesting,
that journey.
I also loved that you said that you could believe, you could see that this is something that could happen for you. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So I do think, like, you're right. I think one of the things that I definitely struggled with was blocks of it not being something that I could achieve. So I think it was really about me going, what do I actually think I can achieve? And if not, why do I have a block that I can't achieve this? Because if I'm creating, absolutely anything is possible. So I thought, okay, let me think about it in steps. What could I want to achieve first? Then this, then this. So I could imagine myself genuinely, maybe not playing like a lead role in a Hollywood film just then as that step, but I was like, I could definitely do this. So I thought, this is something that is achievable for me. I can envisage myself being on a set and being in this show, and it felt so brilliant when I was thinking about it, and when I wrote about it, I almost was overwhelmed with emotion.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I was writing, I'd get a bit like tearful because I was like, oh my God, like this is something that I can actually believe is happening. And I think that was sort of the feeling when I was writing that I felt.
Spot on.
And when I was reading it back, I was like, this is going to happen. I don't know how, but it is.
So good. So you're super clear and you believed it was possible for you. I always say that the best things when you're choosing what to write on your scripting letter, there might be bigger goals in your life that you're going to achieve one day, you're going to manifest one day, but if they still feel a bit unattainable, you can't quite see yourself there in the near future, save them for later, save them for another letter, and write down the things where you can actually see that it's possible for you now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you did. When
that sort of happened, I was like, oh my God, well, what do I want next?
Yes.
It's an exciting feeling of going, nothing is out of the realm anymore.
Yeah. Did it sort of add more confidence to you and to your ability to manifest when you started to see it?
Absolutely. I think when I originally started, I definitely had a lot of doubt of how is this a thing? And then I think it's Master Shri Akashana. Yes.
Yeah.
I watched a video of his. I really like his stuff as well.
Yeah.
And he sort of talks similar to what you do about believing and putting it out there. And there was this message that he said, who am I not to trust? And I wrote that in cap locks on my notes. And every time I doubted, I'd go back to that note and was like, no, who am I not to trust? Like, this is so much bigger than I am. Sorry. I've just got to surrender to this and say the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm not losing anything. I can only gain by
Love
doing
that.
this. So I tried.
Yeah.
And then after the 30 days, I just let it go. And then 6 months later, that's when it all sort of started to unfold.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah.
Wow. Step 1, clarity. Tick. Step 2 is belief, vibration,
Sure.
like being in the right sort of vibrational state, and you felt like this is available to me. Who am I not to trust? Love that. Step 3, you wrote the scripting letter as if it had already happened. Thank you letter. You wrote it to me and the universe. I'm flattered. Step 4, I usually say, is taking the aligned action. Like, you receive the sign, you receive the opportunity, and then you grab it and then you go for it. So let's talk about that now in terms of how it unfolded. You didn't know from the beginning how it was going to happen, but now having done it, if you look back, what did that journey of taking action look like?
I hadn't worked as an actor at all. I hadn't worked an acting job ever, never been on set. I still had like a lovely group of friends, but just my mindset was quite lack. My weight was different. I wasn't particularly happy with how I dressed or looked or felt. And I left a relationship and I moved back home, and there was a point when I was like, what do I want my life to look like? And how can I change this? And this was March 2021. And
Wow, so not long ago.
no, and I thought I need to take some accountability. Like, I've also made the decisions that I've made to get me where I am. Let me also see if I can make decisions to improve this. Because I just started my spiritual journey, it was about learning about vibrations and how I could sort of maintain as high vibration as possible. So that was looking at who I'm surrounding myself with, my morning daily practices, what I'm putting into my body, exercise, absolutely everything in my life just flip turned. I looked at it as if, okay, I'm a series regular on a Netflix role. What does this person wake up and do?
Love
What
that.
does the highest version of me wake up and think? What do they say about themselves? What affirmations are they using? Are they meditating? What do they dress like? Absolutely all of that. And that is what I encompassed myself with.
Before you'd got the role, you were already...
I was acting as if I had already had it.
Amazing.
And I think that's a really big one for me.
Definitely.
And I definitely say that was just in general of how I think I'm getting better and better at being able to live my dream life.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because I act as if.
Yes.
So yeah, I think really helping vibrations by I think the mindset for me is what would the highest version of me do in this situation? How'd they respond? How'd they think? What would they wear? Absolutely everything of that I encompassed into my life, and everything just changed. But
Because
yeah,
you changed.
Yeah, I mean, I look completely different. I feel completely different. The people I'm with, are all really high vibrational people, and I absolutely love my circle of people that I'm around. Do you know what? When you meet someone and they've got a really nice vibration and a nice energy, and it's a different feeling. Yeah, and I felt good. And even though I didn't have it, my life still felt abundant.
So you were already focused on all the things you did have, all the blessings you did have,
Yeah,
rather than coming from a place of lack.
Yeah, I was genuinely grateful for what I had. And because I already knew it was coming, I wasn't then panicking. I ended up switching agents I have the most amazing agent at the moment, forever. So that happened, I'd say, about a month before the Netflix journey started.
Okay.
So I'd written to him several times before, I never had a response.
Asking to be
considered for representation, and he inundated with them. And because he's brilliant. And
in a word, brilliant.
Yes, he is. He's absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so lucky. But I got a response within those 6 months. I then got a response from him, and that was, to me, felt like a sign that something was going to happen, because this is a really top, brilliant agent.
Yeah.
that was interested in me. We hit it off really well, got offered reps, signed with him that day. So I was working at a theatre school at the time. This is going to sound so boring, but I was on COVID mask duty. So I'd help out with absolutely everything, from assisting in classes, from cover drama teaching, to helping with like the ironing, like you'd do anything, right? I was handing out a mask to a mum, just got talking to her. We were just in a conversation. She seemed really lovely. I mentioned that I was an actor and she said, oh, I'm a producer. And then she, following on from that, said, I'm doing something for Netflix at the moment and I think you'd be really good for it. You should tape. Yeah, and it was absolutely mental to me because I was like, I'd worked there for 9 years and nothing like this had ever happened. And yeah, I'd never seen her before this either. And usually I'm not even on that floor at that point. It's a massive theatre school. Yeah, I was like, yes, of course. And I messaged my agent like that day and he was like, okay, cool, we'll look out for it. And didn't hear anything from her. The casting director hadn't got in touch with my agent. Sort of, I was like, okay, I'm not going to get too excited, but you know, still got a really good feeling about it because this is just the first round. Saw her again like about a month later and she was like, I haven't received your tape. Has the casting director not got in touch yet? I'll make sure that happens. And I was like, okay, good. And then a few days later, got the tape, then got the recall, then it basically just kept getting through the rounds. Met up with the director, like she was in the room at the time, the producers. And then Valentine's Day last year, got the job.
Wow.
So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But even before I met them, like the producers and stuff, I was meditating, I was making sure that I was feeling good. I was watching what I was eating, like just absolutely everything. I just made sure that was, and I thought if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But it could either happen this way, it could lead to another path. Like I wasn't sure of the how, but I knew it would.
Wow.
So and then when I got the call, because I was working at the theatre school at the time, I said to my agent, I was really like, can I call you back? And he went, yeah, and I screamed. But yeah, and I called my mum and she couldn't really understand what I was saying. So
that must have been such a special moment.
And the guys at work had like filmed like my reaction to it because obviously I was crying and they were really excited for me. I still look back and I'm like, I can't believe that all led to this. I think the natural way for actors is, you know, the agent gets you the audition and then you audition and then that's the natural route. For me, it was quite rare that, you know, a producer had come up to me in a job that wasn't me being an actor. Yeah. And asked me to tape. It was a very different how. And I think it also, that taught me to really let go of the how as well. Yeah, true. If I had any doubt about it,
it can find you in so many ways. And credit to you, you know, because every part of what you've shared, you've made it happen. When people talk about manifestation, I think it's really important to acknowledge the fact that you are the creator. You know, the universe can meet you halfway with, you know, aligning things so that you meet this producer who's the perfect producer for you. But you did all of the internal work, taking care of yourself, reminding yourself on a daily basis, who am I not to trust, these things that you were saying, and then going for the opportunities when they arose as well. So, and, you know, being a great actor as well and doing well on the tapes and the recalls and things too.
Yeah, I think it's important, like you said, aligned action. Yeah. And thinking, okay, so if I was to have got this job, what would my level of acting be like? What would, you know, I be doing in this moment, etc.
Fantastic.
And it's really interesting because I spoke to her, like, so when it aired, I messaged her just to say, look, thank you so much for this opportunity. I've had the most amazing time. And she was like, the moment I met you, I messaged the other producers on the chat and said, we found our lady Worcester, like, this is her, I've met her. And I hadn't even taped at that point, but she'd already decided, she completely changed the trajectory of my career.
Amazing. So tell us quickly about the show.
Yes, so it's called Blood, Sex and Royalty. It's out on Netflix at the moment. Please give it a watch if you want. Yeah. So I won't give away any spoilers. Okay. But it sort of follows the life of Anne Boleyn. Her rise and fall.
Anne Boleyn. Oh, wow.
So, we filmed in Lithuania.
Wow. Yeah, so you got to fly out there for it?
Yes, we were flown out. Went to Kaunas. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong. And then Vilnius. Had the most amazing time, adored the cast, I have absolutely nothing but fond memories of it.
Wow.
It was amazing. I remember like just sitting there one day and being like overwhelmed with emotion, and it was sort of the same feeling that I felt when I was writing my script that same feeling of feeling so amazed that this is my life and so grateful. And it was that same feeling, but I was in two very different positions.
It goes to show that all reality exists, and you were tapping into that reality before it had happened in your imagination with your scripting letter. You and your subconscious mind were visiting that place over and over and over again. So it is always really wild when then you're in that moment and you're like, whoa, I'm feeling it, but I've kind of also been here before. I've felt it before many times in my mind.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to have that feeling when you're writing, because then when you're there, it doesn't feel so far from you. It doesn't feel so out of reach, because of course I'm going to be on a net. I've had this feeling before. So even when I was going into the auditions, I know I can do it because I've done it.
Yes.
It's already done, so it's not. It doesn't feel so out of reach.
So you weren't putting it on a pedestal. You'd actually.
I think that's a big thing.
Practiced in your mind, being very familiar with it. It wasn't like this big, scary, amazing, out of reach thing. It was like, this is available to me.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that and thinking that you deserve it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of blocks come from, like you said, the doubt.
Yeah. Such an incredible journey, Nikhita. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No, thank you for having me. It's been really lovely. I mean, I absolutely love your work, so...
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing scripting with me.
Oh, my pleasure. It's amazing how it's all unfolded. It brings me so much happiness meeting other people who've used it for all sorts of things. So on to the next scripting letter.
Yes.
Who knows what's next? So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring my bell so that you never miss another video. Definitely check out Nikhita on Instagram, and make sure to check out Blood, Sex and Royalty on Netflix to see Nikhita in action, living her manifestation and playing out that dream role of hers. Until next time. Why don't you introduce yourself, Nikhita?
Hi, I'm Nikhita. I'm an actor from London.
Okay, let's go. Cool. I didn't know whether you were going to carry on. Definitely make sure to... Wait, let me get the name right. Love, Sex and... Blood, Sex and Royalty. Okay. So, and make sure to check out... Hang on. Blood, Sex and Royalty. I keep going love first.
Do you know what? People go loyalty. I'm like, no, royalty.
And make sure to check out Blood, Sex and Royalty on Netflix. And cut. You can download my free Manifest with Scripting step-by-step guide in the description below.